couple in the thin Men of Haddam, the husband and wife figure, Mendez and Juanita, his wife. And I wanted to ask you, there's the rancher's wife, Houston's wife, whose name is Jane. Did you do that on purpose to get
to insult you?
To insult me? Yes.
No,
make me read it and look at my name twice?
To tell you the honest truth, I don't remember.
Okay.
I think, in looking back on it, that if I had it all to do over again, I probably wouldn't have given two characters such names so close.
Well, I guess one is Little Jane and Regular Jane.
Yeah.
Okay, now describe, before I decide to describe it for you.
Oh, I should just skip my description and listen to yours.
The relationship of Mendez and his wife, because it seems to me that there are two other characters when we get to the Vestal Virgin Room, Dottie and Don. Don't
well, that's a pattern in country music also. It's a little less of a pattern because the protagonist of country music is not anywhere nearly approaching a person who's as educated as either Don Baxter in the Vestal Virgin Room or Mendez in the Men of Haddam. I'm not sure that there is a common denominator. Maybe I should ask you to point it out to me, but I see the first relationship, and I think you're right in sort of getting down to the fact that all three of these books are, despite their exterior dressing, in some way about relationships between men and women, husbands and wives, friends and lovers. And I think that in the first book, we're dealing with a person who is over-intellectualizes, and he is out of touch with his feelings. His wife is a much more direct sort of person.
Before we do that.
And I think she's not as much a part of that book as the women are parts of the other two books, and also of the new book, Buffalo Nickel, in which there are three very important women in that book. There are 6 main characters and 5 main characters. 3 of them are women and 2 of them are men. So it seems like the longer I write, the more I've been admitting women into my books.
Well, thank you.
And I think that from the first book to the second book to the third book, there's a greater sense of the men coming to know themselves more fully.
I noticed in the Vestal Virgin Room, you have Don knowing Dottie so well. I mean, she even acknowledges that, so there seems to be a little shift.
Well, these two people are people who are very much in love, and they are very open with each other. There are many things that they tell each other which no one else knows about. They have a very intimate relationship, and so they pay attention to one another.
It's almost symbiotic because they are singing and feeding each other lines.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't said this yet, but they are a husband and wife piano and drum duo who play holiday and cocktail lounges across the Midwest, and they are trying to hit the big time in Vegas.
Right, we've moved into polyester.
Yeah. But the important thing about the book is not really that whole on the road in search of fame and fortune theme at all, rather, but it's the fact that this is a story about a marriage that survives a crisis, and the crisis is the death of a daughter 2 years prior to the opening of the book. And so I think that they have been helpmates more than any of the other characters, the other relationships. They have been much closer. They have seen each other go through more things. They have trusted each other more. They rely on each other more. They play together. They make jokes together, and they have survived this tragedy together, though not altogether intact. They're quarreling by letter, and there was this quality of first person about the letters, and I had forgotten through those first 2 drafts in third person that I had lost that feeling of the voice of the first person. So when I went back and told the story in first person, alternating between him telling a story and her telling a story, I felt that a lot of his rough edges were off.
Yeah.
And he was much more human, much more sympathetic. You were much able, you could indulge him more easily. You know,
yeah, the first time it goes into her point of view, it's kind of a surprise, first of all.
Yeah.
And she likes him.
Yeah.
So that helps. I guess she's the one we have to see